Let's start with a simple question. What is trust? It's a big subject. In fact, a quick search shows that on Amazon alone, there are over 36,000 books with the word trust in their title. Put simply, trust is the intersection of our hopes, dreams and wants with our worries, insecurities and fears. It is both a feeling and a process. Emotionally, trust happens when we open ourselves up to other people, believing that they won't take advantage of our vulnerability. It can be a challenging thing to do, and that's why we're much more likely to trust people we know or think have our best interest at heart than we do strangers. But trust can also be a much more logical, calculated process where we assess the potential downside, such as the other person's behavior, and balance this against the possible upside, which is the thing we want, and conclude that they will act in a way that is reliable and predictable, which will meet our needs. We call this predictive trust. This is the kind of trust we use in hundreds of interactions every day. When we trust the bus driver to get us home safely, or the guy making our burger not to drop it on the floor, or the teacher to give us the correct answers. It is instant, invisible, and virtually unnoticeable. It is how we fit together and work as a society, and it gives us a sense of certainty about the world around us. So how do we decide who and when to trust? Well, research has shown that people can actually decide within 100 milliseconds whether or not to trust another person. Literally, trust at first sight. Some of it is biological instinct, but when we are deciding whether to trust or not, our brains also go through a process called mentalizing, where we think about the mind of the other person and try to figure out their intentions. To help us understand how trust works, 3 clever university professors came up with something called the trust equation, a simple way of showing the ingredients of trust and how they work together. To build trust, we need 3 things: credibility plus reliability plus intimacy. Credibility is strongly linked to competence. Does this person know what they are doing? Do they have the knowledge and skills to get results? Reliability is all about consistency. Do I believe that this person will do what he/she says they will do? Do they keep their promises? And finally, intimacy. This is about how close and connected we feel to the other person and how safe we feel sharing with them. The stronger each of these elements are, the stronger the level of trust. But there is one thing that undermines all this good stuff, and that's something called self-orientation. This is about where the other person's focus and attention lies. Do they have our best interest at heart, or are they in it for themselves? Do they really want to help me, or are they trying to meet some need of their own? As self-orientation increases, trust decreases, and vice versa. To maximize our trustworthiness, we need to focus on boosting the 3 top elements and shrinking the bottom one down to size. Once broken, trust can be a very difficult thing to repair. It hurts. But there are some simple steps we can take to rebuild the bridge between ourselves and others, even if it wasn't our fault. The first and most important step is to fully acknowledge how the other person is feeling. Just listen and don't try to justify, minimize, or explain away their feelings. Make them feel heard. The second step is to take the responsibility for the hurt away from the other person. This is a hard one if you weren't the one that actually caused the problem. But they need to know that you and those around you are willing to step up and shoulder the blame for what has happened. The final step is to rebuild their confidence in you for the future. What can you say or do to make them believe that the same thing won't happen again? We all know how important body language is in relationships, and the area of building or breaking trust is no exception. Here are some common body language signals that affect trust. A real smile is a must for trust, whereas a fake smile is an instant turn-off. Making eye contact in many cultures shows that you have nothing to hide. Avoiding eye contact or looking around can suggest you're not giving that person your full attention. Defensive gestures like crossing your arms, frowning, or standing with your hands on your hips are trust busters, whereas leaning in and reacting to their emotions creates the feeling that you're on their side. And finally, Never forget that trust is a two-way street. To get it, you have to give it. So next time you want someone to trust you, think about how you can take the first step by showing that you trust them.